What's good, y'all? About a year ago, I uploaded a Sonic video. It was a Roblox Sonic game. I know this is like a pretty whack way to start this off, but like considering that video only got like 15 views. Hey, don't even go looking for that video. Don't you dare. Don't even open up my channel, bruh. I see you reaching over there, whether you're on PC, clicking out over there, or you're on mobile, swiping around. Hey, relax. Because this video is going to be completely different. And you're going to go to that video over there that happened a year ago. And all you're going to hear is white noise and crispy audio. But today, a year after, like, hey, the sequel starts today. It's about this new game that just released yesterday. Yesterday around like 10 o'clock in the morning. It's called Pressure. It's on Roblox. It's this dope game inspired by Doors, Ultra Kill. I'm pretty sure there's like two more. Oh, Iron Lung. And essentially it just like it revolves the idea in which you are sent down, like you were a prisoner of a high security, maximum security prison, and you get sent down as an involuntary person, just sent down into a submarine, and essentially you are going into this facility to go on and find materials that was left behind after it had a breakout of the creatures that they were keeping and kind of facilitating within their facility. So your goal, I mean, your goal is told at the very beginning of the game. They say it right there. As soon as you drop out the submarine, they tell you. They'll say it right here. See, I'm playing with somebody I know. I call her T for short. She's a total sweetheart. They tell you to proceed when ready. You gotta stay on the main path. And your goal is to loot, scavenge for these things that they call documents and other materials that you may find in the facility that may be valuable. Now, your goal is to avoid any monsters that you may come across, because there are plenty, or any other hazards while getting through. So the entire concept is much similar to that of Doors, where you're going through a bunch of rooms. There's the number of the room, and you go through the door, and boom, just like that, you're in a new area. It could be similar to the last room you was in, or it could be completely different. You never know what you're gonna get as a generation for the world. It's completely different every time you play, so that makes it extremely replayable. It's suitable for playing with your friends. Personally, I played it a lot today and yesterday when it released, so I had a blast. I played it with all sorts of people. I was even gonna play with randoms, but hey, they dipped on me before I could even associate with them. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, I ended up playing with T. We got through. I died. I couldn't revive because there was a coin bug, and she beat it without me. I'm upset, but it's alright. Now, before I get too sidetracked, the main course of this game, you get through. Eventually, after a bunch of rooms, there's a crystal at the end of the facility that powers the entire thing. You're supposed to snag it and bring it back out to the surface. Now, as you can see right there, the lights flickered. I know you're probably wondering, well, that does sound a lot like Doors, with the lights flickering and then a creature flying by, and you hide somewhere in like a locker or in Doors in a closet. Well, that's because it is pretty much the exact same concept. The lights flicker. That's essentially your signal to get in the locker as soon as possible. Although getting in the locker is hazardous, because if you're in it for too long, you get too anxious and the character starts to panic, and you will forcefully exit the locker, which will put you in harm's way if the monster, which we call the angler, hasn't passed through already. So you can hear it from afar, and it is highly suggested that you get in the locker or the vent as soon as you start hearing him kind of near you. But if you can't see him, if you can't hear him, then just wait. Just sit there and wait. The angler is an extremely common and very dangerous creature. The reason why is because you will constantly see him. As you can see, if I go back here a little bit, you can see him. After the lights flicker, we immediately panic, both me and T. We panicked to find a locker. And the moment I had seen him cross the corner, right there, I had immediately jumped into the locker. And that's because that's the thing. You're probably wondering, well, he saw you. He looked directly at you. Shouldn't you be dead? I mean, he pretty much watched you go into that locker. Well, he did, but that's the thing. The anglers, yes, plural, anglers, they all have terrible eyesight. No matter what, if they see you go into the locker, they will not be able to get you as long as you aren't located within their harm's way. Now, let's get on to the idea that there are more than one, in which there are. There's a total of 4 different types of anglers. There's the main one, there is Frogger, there is Pinky, and there is Chain Smoker. Now, they're all different in their own ways. Primarily because the thing is that some of them will cause different events within the facility, but most of them will actually cause the lights to flicker. But there is one that I will address first because personally she is the scariest and she is the most dangerous. She's a pink version of the angler that we saw earlier. She has a very dark, kind of bright yet dark pinkish hue that she has to her body, yet she has the same look as the original angler. The thing is that she doesn't make the lights flicker. It's strictly, you strictly need to rely on your hearing to detect her, because if not, she will come like rocketing through the hallway that you're in, the room that you're in, and kill you right on the spot. But thankfully, from a distance, you can hear her scream, because all the anglers, they will all make a loud roar / scream, just whatever, a loud noise to help them navigate, because apparently, according to the documents, they have terrible eyesight and they can only find their way around the facility through echolocation. So by roaring at loud frequencies, they're able to easily travel through the facility and locate prey. Apparently, the lights that emit from their body actually cause electric signals that act like an EMP, in the sense where all the lights go out in the rooms. Hence why when it passes through, everything gets shut out and it's complete blackout in the rooms that you go into until you go into the next room that you have not opened yet. Let's move on to the next one. Oh, hold on. That monster right there. That's a whole different story. Hold on, let me get there. But look, there's more to it. The other 2 types of anglers are very similar to the main one, but also different. One of them will actually make the lights flicker a lot. I'm pretty sure. No. So one of them is actually very slow, and he will emit a very kind of greenish smoke behind him. He's extremely slow. You can hear him coming, but this is exactly where the moment where you want to use your hearing to your advantage rather than just leaving or getting straight into a locker as soon as you see the lights flicker, because that could cause you to go into a panic state. And once you're in that panic state after being in a locker for too long, like I said earlier, you will get kicked out the locker and it won't let you back in until you are completely calm again. So for that reason, patience is key, and it will reward you with being able to keep your life and being able to move forward in the game. Now, after he passes by, he leaves you alone, just like the rest of the 3 that we've spoken about thus far. But the last one is a little bit confusing, because even though he looks exactly like the main angler and the Pinky, he has a dark green, kind of like an ugly, like dead green color to him. And this is where you could assume that he would get the name Frogger from, because he resembles like that of a frog, while also resembling, obviously, his physical body resembling that of an anglerfish, but the coloration on his body resembling that of a frog's. So essentially, he will come through with a different roar. All four of the anglers will come through with a different noise, different roar, different screech. Pinky's being the loudest, and Frogger's being the most monotone. See, when he passes by, he'll come right back. He'll go through to the bottom of, or to the last room that you haven't discovered, and then just start coming all the way back to the finish, or back to the start. But the thing is that after that, you may think it's over, but during that little grace period that you get, when after a second bout, after he passes by your locker for the second time, you want to get out the locker. Now, that doesn't mean it's over, because after that, you want to immediately just listen. Just stop and listen. Just stick by that locker. Don't go looting anything. Don't go opening anything. Don't get distracted with nothing. Stay at that locker. You're going to want to hold on to it for dear life, because he will come back a third time and try to get you. After that third time, he'll keep on going. He'll go past you, and he'll fade away just like the rest of the three. Now, from here, we'll go into the next major threat that you will come across. Primarily in large open rooms where there is glass behind it, like this. You see, this is all glass. There's water behind this. And you see, this is called the infestation. He is a bull shark that was experimented on and now clearly has a bunch of eyes all over his body. He'll speak with you telepathically when he comes into the room, occasionally. And as soon as he shows up in the room, he'll start trying to draw you to him. That's why the moment he pulls up and he starts staring at us, you can see my character, from my perspective, I'm drawn to look at him. And whenever I looked him directly in the eyes, I would take damage. And that's the thing. Your goal when you see him is to look away from him. Don't look at him. Do not make eye contact with him. He will kill you extremely quickly if you stare at him long enough. But you're probably wondering, how do we get rid of him? Can we get in a locker to get rid of him? No, getting in a locker will not get rid of him. But opening up the door to the next room will. He will immediately swim away once he sees his prey. Open up the door to the next room, and you can go back into the room that he was in and start looting and scavenging for whatever you believe could have been in that room. Now that we've gone forward with two of the main big threats that you'll find along most of the facility, we'll move on to more of the smaller ones, which we'll go into the least lethal, actually, because he is extremely easy to avoid, and they're called void something. They're a type of void creature that will lurk within a locker. And the way that they'll do so is that they'll just sit there. Like, you won't be able to see them go in the locker. It's just the way that you can detect them is by seeing their purple eye glowing in the little like slits in the front of the locker. And if you see that, don't open it. Do not open it, because you'll be pulled into it and you'll need a friend to save you. If you're playing by yourself, then you will die immediately. The game will not give you an opportunity to save yourself, because you cannot save yourself. But if you got a friend, hey, start praying, because your health will start ticking down, and at that moment you're going to want to pray for your friend to come save you, or start screaming their name, whatever it takes, because you're going to want to get out of there. Trust me, it's the most embarrassing way to go out, and it's happened to me earlier tonight, or earlier this morning. I was playing with a bunch of my friends, and I had perished, sadly, because I didn't look, and I died because I was by myself, unfortunately. So in this next clip I'm about to show you guys, you'll see me willingly walk into a locker that has the void monster within it, so I can demonstrate what would occur in the time in which, or in the moment in which you would decide to actually open up a locker that has one of these creatures within. So you can see here, there's that purple glint right there. You can see it very closely. Look, there it is. You can see it right through the locker. Just keep an eye out at all times. And if you see it, make sure your teammates see it too, because you may know, but they may not, and they may be foolish to walk into it on impulse. So you see, the moment I open up the locker, when I do, immediately Tendo goes flying out, grabs me, pulls me in, just like that. Couldn't see, though your teammate, as you can see here, they can go up to the locker. The locker will immediately be highlighted purple. So That way, it's easier to find where your friend is when they're being strangled inside the locker by the void. And they can immediately locate you, figure out what's going on, and help you. All with the click of one button. And boom. Yeah, just like that. It closes the locker by itself, and you get to move on. See, with how quickly she pulled me out, I only lost 2 health. See, you want a teammate like this. Trust me. She was immediately on the spot. Now, from here, there is a much less, but also kind of similar threat. You'll often find them, and actually only find them, in dark rooms. See, sometimes you're probably wondering, if I'm in a dark room, why don't you always use your lights? Why do you sometimes have your lights off when you're exploring a dark room in the game and the clips in the background? Well, that's because there's something. I'm pretty sure we've been calling them squiddles. They're shadowy creatures. You'll find them in dark rooms after the power has gone out, or in dark rooms that are dark by default. And they will spawn in with the intention to snag you and hurt you. And once you enter a room with your flashlight out, like this one here. See, we enter the room with the flashlights out, trying to explore, figure out what's going on. We're looting, we're scavenging, trying to get a move on. Because as you can see at the top here, even though you can kind of very faintly see it, we only had nearly 4 minutes before the game was shut down, and I wanted to get as much minutes of footage as I could before of course, before the game gets shut down and I would have to leave. Now, you can see, not in this room, but maybe actually the next, that we will come across one of these squiddles. You can find, like I said, you can find them in any dark room, but be careful when you're walking around with any light source out, except for black light, because look, see right there, see the reason why I looked away so quickly is because if you shine a light at them and you're near them for too long, they will actually lunge at you, and they don't kill you immediately, but they will damage you. They will damage you for approximately like 35 HP, and obviously if you get hit by one 3 times, you will die. In the game there are med kits, as you can see. I have one here in the case of emergency, in case you actually do get damaged by one of these, or you get snagged into a locker and lose like a couple of health points. A med kit will heal you about like just over half HP, I think so. Every time you spot it, it'll make a kind of slight hissing noise, like a very like deep hissing noise, and essentially to show you like, hey, you're aiming your light at me, don't do that to me, man, I'll bite your face off. And it will. Be really careful, because these are really easy to take damage by, and obviously to succumb to and to die to. Personally, I haven't died to one of these yet, but I do know that I have friends that have actually gotten killed by it, and after they realize that the solution to not getting damaged or killed by one is actually quite easy, they feel quite embarrassed. Moral of the story, don't shine a light in the room all the time, and be scarce with your flashlight unless you have a black light, because you can shine the black light at them and they won't get mad at you. You can just sit there and stare at them. But hey, tip here, if you see one of these in a room before the lights go out or before you put your flashlight away, you can actually walk right through it just fine, as long as you don't have a light flashing out. Like, don't have any sort of light on when you're walking by it. But when you're empty-handed or you have something like a black light, you can walk right through it just fine. It'll give you no problem. But don't stand around it for too long, because then it will attack you. It will get aggroed at you. So don't stand still near it for too long. Don't try to loot near it for too long. If you see it, just walk right through it without a light in hand and get a move on. Trust, it'll leave you alone just fine. Concluding this, I mean, like, this game, man, it's truly breathtaking. It's an amazing game. I love this game. It has a lot of replayability. It's great to play with friends if you're bored. Man, if I were you watching this video, I'd give it a shot. Look, reason why is because it's easy to get captivated within it, even though you're probably thinking, well, it's just another Doors. Why would I play it? Well, why would I play it again, at least after playing it one time? And that's totally understandable. I understand that. From this perspective, you haven't really seen much. It's just another Doors game, maybe so. But the way that I see it is the fact that you learn something new about the game every time you play it. And whether or not you beat it or you lose, every time you die to something, a creature, or even from falling into a pit of darkness, you will unlock a new piece of information in the Documents tab in the lobby. Now, this gets you immersed in this game to sit here and think. Let's say all your friends die and you're the only one left, and you're thinking, man, I don't really want to play without my friends, so why don't I just die? Maybe. I've come across that situation many times, but I'll refuse to die until a certain thing comes along. Then I'll throw myself out there to unlock a new piece of lore for this creature. That way I could fill in the blanks that the document has, because on the document you get to open it and you were given it by this creature. He will offer you these documents and say, hey, you can read these every time you die. Or every time you die to something, to this creature after you already died to it, you'll unlock a new piece of information about it after it was previously censored. So this, at the end of the day, it gives you something to look forward to when it comes to losing, because when you lose or when you die, it's not like you're really losing. You're winning, but also losing. You're winning in the sense that you're learning more about this world that you continue to dive deep into. And you can see that clearly the generation of the world, even though it may be similar in most cases, and some of the rooms might be the same, and you may think, maybe what if you get tired of this? And you're right. You probably will get tired of seeing the same room occasionally, but then you think about it, and these rooms can come at you in any order, at any time. All these anomalies could be coming at you at any time, whatever. It will always be different every time you play the game. So you can never really be prepared for anything. So this gives you a reason to come back, to explore more, to do more, to indulge in this game that is mysterious and has cruel yet interesting lore behind it. It's just personally, I gotta say, being a fan of space and ocean creatures, yet despite them being terrifying in my opinion, this game gives me a good feeling of anxiety, even though obviously nobody's a fan of anxiety, but this game, it scares me in a good way. It makes me scared, and it riles me up to get scared from this game. Wow, what did I just go through right there? Pinky, I'll hear Pinky, I'll get in the locker and get out of it after she flies by and be like, wow, whew, I made it, man. It feels good to accomplish and stand on top after accomplishing your goals and getting these achievements, getting the badges. This game has numerous badges that you can get from doing numerous things. So just keep an eye out, do what you can, and I'll give y'all a hint. Hey, use a flash beacon on the infestation shark, the guy with the green eyes that tries to force you to look at him. Use a flash beacon on him. I promise something interesting will happen. I promise. Alright, well, unfortunately in this clip, or this video, these clips that I have here, we haven't come across all the monsters that we've seen before. And the reason why is because clearly we were kind of on the game's time, because it was going to be shut down, and we started playing when there was only 20 minutes left until the game had shut down. So we only had 20 minutes and we only got to level 40. So unfortunately I'm not able to go across all the creatures that I would like to. There's a couple more, especially one in particular that is very terrifying, and it puts you in a very anxiety inducing event. But if y'all want a part 2, just let me know down in the comments, or maybe speak out with your likes, and maybe hit that subscribe button. Have a good night, day, afternoon, whatever time zone. Take care, y'all.